Right, we are live. Make sure y'all can hear me. This looks really weird. I have like a low resolution preview. I don't know what's going on here. So, this stuff like it looks a little bit different than normally does. So, if you guys are able to talk and whatnot in the chat and let me know that everything is good, I would really appreciate that. What does this look like? This? All right, y'all. Yeah, just let me know if we're good. Hey, Tiny. Could you let me know first off that you can hear me? We got a new microphone set up here. So want to know that that's good. Am I far away? Am I close? Is the music able to be heard? What does this look like on your side? Is it just looking to like? I gotta see this on YouTube side because it's like giving two videos. I don't know why. Loud and clear. Good. Glad to hear it. Does it sound better? Hopefully, it sounds better. Because we do have a new microphone. We're not playing off of this anymore because that was giving some sort of like static. All right. No music. Okay. Let's see. Music probably be on the screen share thing. I think that's probably like I'm trying to figure out a way to let my voice is very clear, but I don't hear music. Yeah, I think the music thing. I know what's wrong with that. I'm trying to like it doesn't allow me like I either have to like share the system audio, but it only works while I'm on screen share pages, which is kind of frustrating. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like make it play all the time in the background. May have the opportunity to upload it into the back office of the system, and then that might work. But let's see. I really hate this transition thing that they have up here because I have no idea what's what. Like I have to like continue to check. This is super annoying. They must have like, updated the system over the weekend or something. Okay. So let's see if that shows my charts. They must have like, updated the system. All right. This transition thing is driving me insane. I hate this thing. I think what I do is I click something and then I click transition and then hopefully it actually shares my screen. So I hope that you can see this. And yes. It looked like really nice trading last night. Honestly, just like in the middle of the night or something, we have trade ops. And I was very tempted to trade it, but I was also very tired. This honestly looks like a trade right here. So, let's see if that shows the charts. They annoying. Weird. Now music is too loud. Yeah, so the music thing, the reason why it's an issue is because it only shows up when my screen is shared, and I'm trying to figure out a way to like prevent that from being an issue. Um, but all the stream is it's all a learning process. It's frustrating because like you really just want it to just be smooth and simple, so that you can just do what you're here to do and not fiddle around with this stuff. But at the end of the day, this is the way it tends to be. Um, so the music was too loud, huh? Okay. Switch back over to the screen share thing, and then I guess we do this. And so that was a nice move right there. It actually did give us a little pop up. This is all weird too. So our trailing drawdown, we need to be a little careful with it. We went a little too aggressive last week, and so we have to be a little bit more careful today. This is looking decent for a trade. I'm in at 40.38. Looking in at 40.38.75. We're only taking 2 contracts while we rebuild our trailing max drawdown. There's 10 seconds left in this candle, and looking for just a push up. Pulling back some. For this next candle to have a nice big push through. Nine's above 12. It's crossing above the 35. It's currently above the 50, but it's like right at that line. We want to be very cautious because we can get stopped out on a trailing max drawdown, and I don't want to deal with that. Pulling back too much now. I gotta cut it.
Order filled.
Sucks. That puts our trailing max drawdown at 227 and puts us red on the day of 308. And then now it's just gonna pull right back. That was a pretty big drop, honestly. I cut it and I knew it was gonna push right back up too. And I literally cut it just because I just felt like it was like it just hit my max limit. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do? You just have to deal with when it hits your max limit like that. The trading looked really nice last night through the night, but I just was too tired to trade it. Man, that sucks. If I would have just held it, it would have actually done it. One second left in this candle. Try to get filled at 75 there. I missed my entry. Got a trade on this side. We have a possible crossover of the 50 and 200 on the 1 minute chart, which would look really nice. Total on the market is dropping. As far as the So we're getting a nice push up here. I tried to take that trade earlier.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, we made a tiny little bit of profit back on that. We're gonna have to be super cautious because we're very close to that trailing max. We're at 293, so I don't want to take more contracts, even though that would get us resolved faster. But if we take more contracts and it goes against us even a little bit, then it would kick us out. So that's too bad about this because I knew that this was going to push back up, but I didn't want to get stopped out of my trailing in the middle of this trade. This felt so obvious that it was going to come back, and it was just very frustrating to have to force myself to take a loss because I entered in too early into the trade. In at 41.50 on the sim side, and we got a little trade there. We're getting some nice volatility coming up, and this honestly looks very strong enough for a trend reversal. But there is a lot of volatility in it, so we got to make sure that we don't get stopped out during that volatility. It's really important. Entered again at 41.25 and took a really quick trade, 4 ticks. Yeah, so we took 3 trades here, got back into green. I was red 625 from a trade that I did last night. Now we're gonna go for 8 ticks, and gonna wait for this pullback to happen. So a move off of 40 potentially, and then a move back up to 42. CTM looking like 2.6 to 3.2 to 3.7 to 4.1. So we're moving at a factor of about 0.1. I'm gonna cut this and just get in. Got in at 40.25, and join the bid here. Didn't get filled. Tried again at 40.5, and I'm looking to get out on this trade here at 42.25. Pulling back some to 40.5. I have to be super cautious on my trades today. In the eval side. I'm not going to support trying to get this transition thing turned off. We're still in that trade. I appreciate you guys hanging out. My computer's going slow. Just trying to get a screenshot. Come on. There we go. Man, this is slow. Looks like that trade just went through. Getting some decent pop up there. All right, let me get my screen back up. All right, so we did end up getting that trade. We're up slightly, 625 on the day. We've just been taking smaller trades. I don't mind just doing some scalping today. The market movement's kind of slow, and it's more to the downside. You can see that it's been kind of trending downward. So it's, I wouldn't say it's slow. There's plenty of volume. There's plenty of decent momentum. But I'm probably going to be focused on scalping today instead of momentum trades, like heavy momentum. This is when I want it to be taking momentum. Is when we get the fresh like switch over. But when it's more like kind of chopping out like it is right now, just scalping. Let's take a look at this on the 3-minute chart. 3-minute has a 1226 possible crossover on the way. That would potentially look pretty nice up to this 43.25 zone. In fact, I might actually take a trade to that. Entered at 41, and I'm looking to get out right here at this green line. Actually looking to get out at like 43, but which is slightly before. It is pulling back some. Below 40, which we don't really want to see. We want to see it hold 40. So 0.4 to 1.9 to 3.4 on the 3-minute chart. Coming up at the top of the hour, and this is a pretty hefty pullback. It's not too bad actually. It's only about $1 from our entry. Our entry is at 41. It's down at 40. So just gonna look for that to push back up. In the meantime, keep working with support to try and get rid of this thing. Nice. Good job. I guess I just have to deal with this crap today. Is what it is, I guess. But it's really interfering with my trading. It's very annoying. Because I ended up pulling back quite a bit. 1.9 to 2.9 on the 3-minute chart. Switching to the 5-minute chart to see if this trade just needs to get cut. Honestly, we're down $1,000 in this trade, so it should have been cut already. But now let's see if we can still validate it's long. 4.5 to, or sorry, 5.7 to 4.5 to 4.3. So the momentum is definitely slowing down some on this. I think this might be worthwhile to cut. Obviously, we're down pretty heavy in this trade. Kind of distracted just because the trading software or the streaming software is like being weird today. And so because of that, it really did distract me a lot from trading proper. It was very frustrating. 40.37 might be our bottom here, which is honestly way too much risk, in my own opinion. But I'm just gonna hold it for a second and see if it pops back up. We're down 125 on the day, but on this particular trade, it should have been cut earlier. Volume kind of slowing down some. You can see we had this kind of influx of volume back here, but the volume's really slowed down a lot right now. Doing about 2,500 to 3,000, maybe 1,500 contracts per minute, which is really slower than we want it to be. Back to the full screen and this. Hey, what's up, Josh? Okay, so we're still in this trade. We're down 500 in it currently, up to 1250 on the day. And you can see there's a lot of selling pressure coming in, but it does look like it's going to continue to push up. We're at 40.39.25, 40.40 acting as resistance there. You can see the cooling off on that 1-minute chart on DCM, and 3-minute chart is still stacking on Cyan. We've got 2.9 to 4.0. Our next one's going to be at 7.7, which is just in about 5 seconds. So, so that new candle now. There it is, and this is on the 3-minute chart. We have this little flag, wedge flag here. 9 and 12 above, 9 above 12, and getting a 1226 crossover. Looks decent for an upward move. 4.12 to 4.9 in the TTM, at 40.39. 38 and a half or so. 5-minute chart. I guess our next one will be up. Let's see. We went from 5.7 to 4.5 to 4.3 to 3.6. Let's see. 4.3 to 3.7. So let's move about 0.6. We've got to push up over 41. Obviously, number one for the trade to be positive, but also to continue this momentum. We're going to need to move up towards this EMA 35, which is right here at about 40.43. So that's where we're at on that. TTM going red on the 1-minute chart. Yeah. This transition thing is so friggin' annoying. So we're back in green in the day, barely. Waiting for this. Now I'm going to be waiting for red yellow on the TTM side, but it is looking pretty decently strong. You can see the bulls are buying in right now. It's bulls, but I mean, people are buying. But we're really battling 40-40, and that's the area to be. 40-40 zone. Like I'm tempted to take a trade right here. It looks like I should have. But there's that red yellow. That's what I'm looking for. So movement of 1.3 to 1.2 on the 1-minute chart. We did get above 40-40 for a brief moment there. I want to see a little bit more momentum on that red yellow. But I think that we may have this opportunity now. There's 40-41. It's back at our entry on the sim side. I want to make sure that this actually breaks through. That's why I'm not taking this trade yet. So I'm waiting for this to actually break solidly toward the upside, which would be over this 41. And really, I want to see two yellow candles in a row. 1.3 to 1.1 looks pretty good. Looks pretty strong. I do think that we're going to get this move up to 43. Looks like we almost hit 43 in the back here. Moving now to 42 and a half. That's looking nice and strong. So we did get that move to 43. Now we're selling off some. There's 43. We actually moved all the way up almost to 44. And now looking for a trade for this pullback some. Pulling back now to 41.75. It's a big sell-off. A lot of people taking profit on that. But 9 is back above 12 on the 1-minute chart. We did get another 1226 crossover. The 35 is currently below the 26, so that looks less enticing overall, but still looking decent. We're going to need a cyan switch now, I think, in order for this to continue upward. Let's check this on the 3-minute chart and see what we got going on. So 3-minute is actually in a cooling candle pullback on the TTM on 3. from 5.0 to now 5.0. So it's pretty much flat, running in between flat and not flat. So our next 3-minute candle is going to be at 8:03. Excuse me. Which is just in about 20 seconds. Let's check this on the 5-minute chart. 5-minute has a possible crossover of the 1226. This is a more powerful move on the 5-minute than it is the 3, at least for upward. 3 to 3.4 to 2.6. 3.4 to 2.6. Moving about 0.8 on the 5-minute chart in the right direction. Probably going to get some bounces off of 40.40. So I'm just going to join the bid here. Enter to 40.40. Probably might get a little bit of pullback in the meantime. I think that's okay. Looking for another move up to 43. So, up to 42. Really, I'm looking for this to push all the way up and test this red line here. So that's the EMA, the 200 SMA. That's what that is. We ended up getting a red candle on that 1 minute, so it was pretty much flat though. 1.0 to 1.0 to 1.0. 1.0, and finally getting a little bit of a move up, 0.9, but that's not really momentum. So we can't really base anything off of that yet. We have to get above and stay above 41, I think. In order to really have this play out proper, I think that we need to get and stay above 41. Volume is pretty decent. We're having some candles that are hitting close to 4,000 contracts, which is nice. I'm gonna take that profit and we can get back in. I want to get back in on the momentum move. It might be right here. Entered at 41 again. Now look for a move at 43. 0.6 to 0.4. We need that cyan switch. Without it, we're just not going to get the moves that we want. Very choppy day. And I'm not going to overtrade. But I'm super close to my trailing max drawdown. So basically we had a bad day on Friday. And that Friday really hurt our overall evaluation. We're still okay because we're still in it, but we're barely hanging on. This is pulling back a little too much for me, and momentum's stopping. So yeah, I'm gonna cut that. Up 1,000 on the day in the sim. Definitely could be better. But man, this transition thing is as frustrating gets. We definitely won't be dealing with this tomorrow. By the way, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I know we didn't have that many people here today, probably because I'm messing with a bunch of scenes, trying to make this thing work proper, and it's just not working the way I want it to. So actually, dude, I might actually just I wonder if I could just do this. Okay, so we have the dynamic one up there. I'm just gonna delete these pro scenes and see if this just eliminates this whole issue entirely. Okay, it did. We're just going to operate it the way that we normally do, which honestly is kind of a bit of a letdown because I really wanted to be able to utilize this feature that they have. And it was just very kind of frustrating. So we'll just operate it the way that we normally do and just work from there. So let's see. We do have this 5200 crossover working on it on the 1 minute chart, 3 minute side. Obviously, that's a really long way out. We've got moves to cyan, and we're just chopping right now. So not really a trade. No real trade here at the moment. On the 3 minute chart, though, a couple things to note. While it hasn't happened yet, this 9 is above the 12, and it's all crossed over the 26, and you can see the 26 is actually diverging away from the 12. This gives us indication that in the near future, we may see a lot of buying pressure come in and push us up towards 40-50, or rather at least towards this 200 moving average, which is right at 42.5. But my guess is that we're going to actually pop up through this and run up towards the volume weighted average price, which is right at 40.46. I don't know when that's going to happen, but or even if. But indicators wise, it does look as if that is a very real possibility, especially because we've been holding this 40-40 zone, if you will, not the number, but the zone. We've been holding this area pretty well for a while. So I wonder if around 8:30 or so, if we're going to see that pop up. This is a brand new 3 minute candle, and we're getting some decent push, not much, but a little bit of a push above this EMA 35. I think this 35 is acting as the line in the sand right now. It's acting as a form of resistance, and I think that when our 9 and our 12 get above this blue EMA 35, then we are going to have a little bit more opportunity for that buying pressure to come in and just push it up. And in all honesty, I'm going to test that theory, and I'm going to join the bid here. And I don't think this trade is going to work out right away, although we're already up 3 ticks. Actually, it looks like it's working out right away. On 1 minute chart, switching to cyan on there, but I'm looking for this now to push up to 44 and into 45. I'm gonna check this 1 minute chart and see what we got going on. So we did transition into cyan, 0.8 to 1.1. That's very low momentum on the 1 minute chart. 3 minute chart is telling us a better story. 5 minute chart also same, looking to get a cyan switch on the 5 minute chart here, and the 1226 crossover is very, very near on the 5 minute. In fact, the 9 is just beginning to cross above the 12. This looks really good for some bullish move. And in all honesty, I may actually move up towards 45. So I'll put in another $1 with this and see how that plays out. I'm going to switch over to the 1 minute chart now, and I'm going to jump to my evaluation side and see if there's a trade op in here. Like I said, we've just been scalping a bit here, trying to get in at 41.75, which we did enter in on, trying to get out of 42.50. Like, I'm just trying to work my way back up.
Order
Did
filled.
get that trade. I'm gonna go for 3 contracts now, and my hope is just to slowly work my trailing max drawdown up. It's at 360 right now, and I need to get it back to 2,000. So I have a ways to go. I think this is gonna continue to pop up. You can see though that we've got this double top right here, and so that may act as some amount of resistance, but we are popping up.
Order
I'm the bid
filled.
at 44 on my eval side.
Order
Got 3
filled.
ticks on that. Still red on the day, but only slightly now. So we did work our way out of that. We also made this trade here. So we're up 21.25 on the day on the sim side, and we are down 76.74 on the eval side. We took that 3 contracts, 3 ticks, and that honestly should help us move a little bit faster. But again, I gotta be super cautious. Right now, trailing max is at 459. We started at about 563 or so. So watch out for rejections along this 200 simple moving average, as we're also right at the volume weighted average price. So I'm not going to be taking a trade here yet, although we could just rip on through it, rip up to 40.50. But as it stands, I mean, it looks strong, but as it stands, I wouldn't mind seeing a pullback to maybe like 43 and a half, maybe 44. I'll actually see if we can get an entry off of 44. Nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for that pullback because I expect it to happen, because we're running up into the 200 moving average resistance and the VWAP. So we have 2 strong forms of resistance that we're running into, and while I think that we'll push up through it, I don't know that we're gonna maintain above it for a while. So there's that pullback there. That's why I didn't take a trade. 2.6 to 2.7. Momentum slowed a little bit again on the 1-minute chart. Switching to the 3-minute chart, which is also now working on a 5200 crossover, which is great. The 5200 crossover on the 3-minute is incredibly powerful. That's a really strong move oftentimes, unless there's some random false break type stuff, but usually that's not the case. 5.7 to 6.1 on the 3-minute chart on the TTM. And just gonna jump in and check with you guys on everything here. So we do have a couple people hanging out. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. And also, guys, we've been streaming now for about 45 minutes. But if you guys are interested in earning funding in the futures market like me, check out Elite Trader Funding. These guys are awesome. You guys can actually earn funding as low as $10,000 on all the way up to $300,000. So you literally can trade for the whole house each and every day, and it would work out, like pretty amazingly if you guys were able to do that. But there is a link in the description as well as a promo code JSBest that you guys can enter on checkout and actually lock in a discount for life. Me personally, I'm working on the 50K evaluation, which has a 2,000 trailing max drawdown and a profit target of 3,000. Allows me to take 8 contracts in mini and 80 micros. And so that's what I was talking about with my trailing max drawdown. I got to be really careful to make sure that I am within this range, because right now we're at 459 remaining on here. So I have some work to do because Friday was a really bad trading day for me. So having said all that, we're going to be very diligent and work slowly to work our way back up here. Profit target is 3,000, so I just need to hit 53,000 in order to earn funding. And I think that we can do that. We've gotten really close several times, but always at the 0 hour, like the last trade, like I'm like, okay, it's been ripping, and we're like 1 trade away, and then I'm like, okay, it looks like it's about to rip, and then I take it and rips downward. I'm like, what the hell? So that's happened a couple of times. Tiny, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, you'll get it back. I'm not worried about you, Tiny. I think that you're becoming a much better trader. Okay, so we did rejected that volume weighted average price, and then here's what happened. Okay, so we did reject that VWAP on the 3 minute chart, which was also the 200 moving average on the 1 minute chart, if you remember. So we rejected pretty heavily off of that, and we're coming back down. You can see now that the 26, this is another way that I use this. So this 26 is beginning to curl upward. And so when I'm seeing that curling upward, that what that's telling me is that there's actually more downward movement happening. Additionally, we can see that the 9, this yellow line here, crossed below the 12, which is the cyan, which is also another indicator of downward pressure. Additionally, on top of that, you can see on the 3 minute chart, which is really great at predicting trend, is actually switching to cooling candles on the TTM. So we went from 5.6 to 5.7. You can see right there, that's where the momentum cooled off, where the momentum flattened out from 5.6 to 5.7 is basically no momentum. So that's where the momentum flattened out. And then we can see on our next candle, we dropped down to 4.7. So we dropped down a whole momentum point, and then we went down to 3.1. So we dropped down 1.6. So that's pretty heavily. So we are pushing downward, continuing to push, and we're dropping below that 40-40 zone, which was really important area in order for us to maintain. Didn't maintain it. What is this one that I put in here? I put this in here at some point in time as a heavy resistance level, 40.32. We've been pulling back now on the 3 minute chart for 4 candles in a row, which really equates to 12 minutes of pullback. On 1 minute chart, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 minutes, I guess. That's such a huge pullback. From 45, pulling all the way back down to 30, 31. We pulled all the way down to 30 off pretty heavy volume too. You can see that the volume has been like close to 4,000 into the 5,000s. This current candle is over 6,000 now on the volume to the downside. So now, since I typically just go long, occasionally I'll take a short, but it's just not my jam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the red TTM candle here to give us another switch to yellow. And when we get that switch to yellow, basically what we're going to be looking to do is, you can see this big drop here, and then we had like 2 more red candles, and then we switch to yellow, and then there's a nice little zoosh. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for, is that red to yellow switch. The red to yellow switch, like if I was to break this out into this the trades that I would do in the order that I would do them, based off the way that this whole strategy is laid out, is trade number one is the red to yellow switch. Okay, so when this switches to yellow, there's that trade there. Occasionally I won't take this, and I'll take the one right after. Okay, it just depends on what the momentum is of the red to yellow. So that's trade number one. And then trade number 2 is when I'm going to be looking for the red the yellow 9 EMA to cross above the cyan 26, or cyan 12, or the other one is the yellow to cyan switch. So it'd be like this little micro trade here. But the real one that I'd be looking for is the 9 above 12, which is actually this here, which turned out being what two of them are, which is 9 above 12 and the 1226 crossover. So this would have been my second most likely trade. And then from there, it would be this next cyan switch, which is right here. So, and that's that next 1226 crossover, which I think we did take a trade in there. But it's just kind of the order of things. So now I'm looking for a yellow candle to form on the TCM, which might be a little bit. So we're at 5.9 to 6.4. We are getting some green, so it's good in terms of actually being able to come back some. But you can see how much this sold off here from 45 all the way down to 30. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 doji, 8, 9 red candles in order to get here. So that's a lot of red candles, and who knows if we can actually maintain that kind of downward pressure without getting a huge pop-up. 5.9 to 6.5 to 7.1. You can see the momentum now is beginning to slightly, gradually level off. Like I said, we're going to need this to go to switch from red to yellow. Once we switch from red to yellow, then that's going to be likely our next trade that we're looking at getting. So rejected hard. Yep. That it did. Rejected really hard, actually. We did hit 226 subscribers today, so I want to thank you guys for that. Additionally, guys, if you want to help us push up to 230, please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, because it really does make it helps the channel grow more than you guys might think. It really does. It lets YouTube know that we're doing something of value here, and it just shows us to more people and allows us to grow a lot. It's very, very helpful. Additionally, guys, we do have an awesome Discord group. If you guys would like to join in that, it's free. joelstraight.com/Discord, but there's also a link in the description. Inside of our Discord community, we're talking about a lot of different stuff. Entrepreneurship, trading futures, creating crypto, investment strategies like dividend investing and stuff like that. So we do have kind of a whole thing going on there inside of our optimistic futures trading group. Let's go ahead and jump back into these charts, and you can see we're continuing to pull back. So this is what I was talking about with the leveling off of the TCM. So 6.5 to 7.2 to 7.7 to now 8.1. So you can see that the number between each candle is becoming less and less. So it went from went from 5.9 to 6.5. So that was 0.6. And then it went to 7.2. So that was 0.7. Then we went to 7.7. So that was 0.5. And then we went to 7.8. So now it's only 0.1. So you can see where the momentum becomes more gradual and kind of levels off. And that gives us the indication that there's a high likelihood that we're going to get a yellow candle very soon. And what we want to do is when we get that yellow candle, that's our entry point. And we're usually looking for a nice little pop up there. It's often very possible to get 12 ticks off the top. But sometimes I go for 8 just to minimize my risk. There's a yellow candle right there. Wait for a little micro pullback, and I'm going to measure this now too from 7.8 to 7.8. So it's actually the same amount. So we usually want to see it increasing. Got an entry there at 31.50, and I'm looking for a move at the 33.50. Gonna jump to my evaluation side, and this exactly is the reason why you want to see it, that yellow candle form, a little bit more momentum than what I took it with, because you can see it was pretty much flat when it was switching yellow. So 7.8 to 7.9. This does still seem like a reasonable trade here at the moment, but if we drop below the opening of this green candle here, then I'm out. So which is 30.25, and we're right at 30. So right at my risk. There's that yellow candle coming back in. So from 7.8 to 7.9 to 7.8 again. Want to see this 1 minute candle break new high, which would be right over 32. Really want to see it break over 32 with this 7.8, and I also want to see this get to like 7.5 or higher. Time left in this candle is about 20 seconds or so. So that would be our 8:30 marker. 7.8, 7.7. Where are we at now? 30.75. Ugh. To get it, that yellow, and so from 7.9 to 7.7 to 7.5. So 0.2 move, not as much momentum as I want to see. It's really very little. I'm really looking to see this get like above 7, maybe like 6.9, which would be really it likely would be a move to break over this 32 area. We're struggling at 30. But it's getting reasonable buyer support at 30. Third yellow candle, 7.7, 7.6, 7.4. I may have to cut this because that's just not enough momentum, and we definitely dropped below our risk level, so we're out. Up 13.12 on the day. That was a pretty heavy loss, close to $1,000 loss on that one. I'm still up 13.12 on the day. It's kind of challenging when it's just continuing to drop so heavily like this. I know a lot of people could be taking shorts right now, but at the same time, like, that's just not, like, I don't take shorts enough to call it a strategy. Like, occasionally I'll take a short scalp. But the thing of it is about shorts is a lot of times I'll see it dropping with all this momentum and whatnot, and then it will just like switch the other way incredibly fast. And a lot of times it just feels like there's no way to know where the bottom is. And so I guess standard deviation at that point would be likely the tactic. But heavy rejection off of the UF and just continuing to push downward. Glad we cut that trade, but not as glad that it's not turning around. I think that we're going to need to see a yellow candle on the 3-minute chart in order to see any really kind of move in the direction that we want to see. This feels so weird to me, by the way. So we switched over to a Yeti mic this weekend, and I pulled it out of my old stuff. So I've had this Yeti mic for a couple of years, but it feels really weird. Nice. Only down 187.50. Yeah, you can come back from that. Like that's 5 contracts at 3 ticks. So I think you can come back from that really quickly with the scalp. But But we pulled out this Yeti mic that we've had for a while, and I hope it sounds good. I really do. But I noticed that the headphone that was with this was bringing in like a consistent static. What's up, Origin Code? Good to see you. Was bringing in like a consistent static, and so I just pulled out the old Yeti. I hope it sounds pretty crispy. I genuinely do, because I mean that was the whole reason why I own this thing to begin with. But I feel like it's like so much further away from my face that I'm like, do they even hear me? So we tried to improve our stream by adding in by utilizing some of the features here, but it just didn't seem to work out as well as. So this is continuing to pull back down. Wow. Coming up and testing the lows, like the low rate being around right here, like 40.25. So testing those lows, just pull back to like a 5-day chart here. You can see on the 5-day chart, we had pulled all the way back down to about 4,000 almost before ripping back up towards 65. I mean, these dips and these rips are no joke. These are huge, and because of this, really there is a lot of market volatility across the board. As far as what is going on in the world, on the calendar, this week's calendar today we had financial reports drop at 6:45, 777. So we had the S&P U.S. Services PMI data. We had ISM Services Index, factory orders, and core capital equipment order version. So that's what this was. Tomorrow we've got trade deficit. And then Wednesday, we've got 2 reports dropping at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, so 5:30 Pacific, and that's productivity revision as well as labor costs. And then at noon, we've got consumer credit levels and the changes in the consumer credit levels. So you can see consumer credit was at like 25 billion the previous month, and it's forecasted that we're going to hit 30 billion in consumer credit levels. That is a lot of dough. That's a lot of dough that people owe. A lot of dough that you owe. So I don't know that we're going to increase $5 billion over the course of a month. Although I'm not sure if that, it doesn't say it's from Q3. It says October. I don't know if we're going to increase $5 billion in credit levels in the course of a month. That seems a little excessive, but who knows? I mean, we are in the holiday season, and so a lot of people are going to be putting that on their credit card. So who really knows? Then Thursday we've got jobless claims, both initial and continuing. So this is usually a pretty large report, like a pretty important report. And then same with the consumer credit level. So these two are both pretty big reports. The PMI data could be, that was from today. Let's see, Friday we have a pretty decent amount of reports. We've got producer price index. We've got consumer settlement index, 5-year inflation expectations. This one is obviously going to be a pretty important one. We've got wholesale inventories. We've got real household wealth, and we've got real domestic debt growth. So I think that the inflation report is going to be one of the bigger ones. All this is dropping at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So I can tell you that I personally am going to be flat for those report drops, because I don't know how that's going to play out in the market. Good day, optimists. Good day indeed. By the way, guys, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It does help this channel more than you guys might know. It really does help the channel grow a lot. It makes a big difference. So on top of that, guys, if you want to earn funding in the futures market, be sure you check out Elite Trader Funding. Okay, you can earn funding as low as $10,000 and all the way up to 300 grand. So you literally can trade the whole house. And if you use the link in the description, you'll guarantee a discount locked in for life. So on any of the plans that you see here, that discount applies to everything, literally everything that you see, from one-step evaluations to static drawdowns, which are really popular, to the more traditional style of prop firm, which is the end-of-day drawdown evaluations. These are also this is the thing that most prop firms do. Personally, I love the one-step evaluation. I think it's one of the best out there because it does allow you a pretty large amount of drawdown with not too big of a profit target, and it allows you to take a reasonable amount of contracts in order to actually grow pretty reasonably fast. So check these guys out if you guys would like to earn funding in the futures market. In my opinion, they're one of the best. I'm probably going to try some others soon. Once we get funded with Elite Trader, then I'm likely going to post a review about Elite Trader and then potentially try some others as well. But it took a lot of time in choosing this company, so hence why I'm with them and intend to all the way until I get funded. So still continuing to pull back on the 5-minute chart. We've actually we never got that full science switch. Just got to basically just tapped it and then pulled back super heavy. So we never got that 1226 crossover on the 5-minute chart. And so that 1226 crossover is going to be a potential for a nice big move. 1-minute chart has been sort of trending decently toward the upside. We do have a possible crossover inbound on the 1-minute chart. We pulled all the way back to 40-25, and now we're kind of bouncing off of that. Momentum looking like 6.7 to 5.9 to 5.2 to 4.5. So there is reasonable momentum stacking up. I want to see this 9 get above the 12 in order to really have more confidence in this, but 35 is above 26 does give us a decent amount of confidence. So I'm going to join the bid here on the sim side. Try to get in at 26 and a half. I don't know if it's going to fill me. I think I'll just cancel it and try and get in again. In at 26 and a half now, and looking for a move up 28 and a half. It's looking pretty strong. Jumping over to the eval side and just gonna join the bid right here. In at 27 and a quarter, I'm looking to get out 28 on 3 contracts. Got to keep it very tight though because of that trailing drawdown. Push, push, push. Nope, wrong direction. You want to go up. That's what you want to do. Push up to 28. Come on. That's a lot of sellers. $5 seconds left in this candle, and we're currently down in this trade $75. We're in 3 contracts. Just looking for that bounce to 28. Very close to our trailing max drawdown.
Order
Had to
filled.
cut it, and we are $146 away from a trailing drawdown, and that is not looking nice. And that puts us down 389.82 on the day. So very frustrating, especially because we got super close yet again, and we got there really quickly. So we're not out yet, but we're very close. So we got super close to earning that funding, and then we basically took one bad trade on Friday, and that one bad trade really really just, and it wasn't even a bad trade. We ended up being right. It's just that it we got in, it pulled back down like super fast, and then ripped back up, and we cut at the bottom. And that one bad trade really really hurt our account heavily. Getting selling pressure coming in. Was really looking for that to just kind of pop and break up towards 28, but just didn't do it. Considering just doing one tick trades, just trying to work our way back. We're still green in the sim side. 2.3 to 2.0 on TT. Close to a crossover, but still so far. Slow day. Like it seemed a lot better earlier in terms of momentum. This was such a massive drop though at the open that I think that essentially the attempt at recovering is a big challenge for the market. Getting some pushback up. I'm glad we cut that trade, because honestly it would have made us fail our evaluation. Just this like additional drop here, but still very frustrating. Very low volume, and it's the lower volume that's making this challenging. Really, like we need like consistently like 3,000 contracts a minute. And without it, it makes it really choppy. Got a possible crossover on the way, and we're running right around 25. Our entry on this is 26.50, which is higher than I think that I should have got in, but in all honesty, it is what it is. So 2.3 to 1.8 to 1.4, moving in a factor of 0.4, not bad considering our really low volume. And the volume is not super low, but it's low enough to be choppy. It's low enough to chop out with all these dojis and whatnot. That is very, kind of annoying. So we do have this crossover inbound potential, provided that this doesn't just reject. 1.8 to 1.3 to 0.7. It doesn't look like it's going to reject. It does look like it's going to pop up. It did reject. Pulling back to 25. We need this 1226 crossover to happen. So next move really is like 9 above the 12. If the 9 is above the 12, I'd be willing to take a little trade in the eval side. I'll put it on 3 ticks. 0.8 to 0.6. Still pulling back. We haven't got a yellow candle on the 3-minute chart. So that yellow on the 3-minute chart I think is really important. We're still holding on to this trade. We're kind of at our risk level with it. Our next 3-minute candle is going to be at 51. And we're moved from 9.5 to 10.0 to 10.4, 10.3, 10.4, and running back and forth between it. Next one's going to be at 51, which is in 2 minutes. So I'd want to see the next 3-minute candle get yellow. And that's really kind of what I think that we're waiting on. 10.0 to 10.4. Prior to that, though, we were moving from 7.9 to 8.6 to 9.5. So we're moving at almost 1 point each time. So 9.5 to 10.4. So we were moving at almost 1.0 each time. Now we're moving at more like 0.4. So I want to see the next candle. Excuse me. Or the one right after switch to yellow, which would be at 51 or at 54. This is on the 3-minute chart. I also want this to stay above 10.4. Gonna check the 1 and just see what's going on with this. 1's really close to a 1226, but you could see that the 9 is still heavily below the 12. So that doesn't bode well in terms of upward move. The 9 has got to get closer to this 12 and preferably get above it. That 9 above the 12 would give us that opportunity, really, where you likely see a lot of buyers step in. 20 seconds, then we got a new 3-minute candle. So I'm just going to switch to that now. Kind of challenging trade day just because of how choppy it is and how slow it is. And it can be pretty frustrating. So 10.0 to 10.2 is where that ended. Not bad. Now this one's opening at 10.4. Good likelihood that this could switch to yellow. Switching to our 1 minute, where we have a possible crossover of the 1226. That's the 12 EMA, the 26 simple. And 9 is still below 12, but we did get a cyan switch. 0.2 to 0.8. It's looking reasonable. Stalled here at 26.5, which is our entry at this one. Just gonna check in with the comments real fast. All right, cool. Yeah, we're good. We're up to date. And jumping back, this will crossover still continuing 0.2 to 0.5 to 0.8. Stalled out at 26.50 and pulling back some. Like I said, this 9 has to get above that 12. Without it, it's going to be really challenging for this upward move. And there's that rejection. This one had gone up to 27.25. 0.2 to 0.5 to 0.7. I'm going to put this just at 27 because that's a pretty hefty rejection off of that. Just rejecting along the 26. So that doesn't look good for this current trade. And we're still green on the day, very slightly. Our max peak of the day was green 21.25 on the sim side. It's pretty much been red all day in the eval. and our trailing drawdown is currently at $146. So we have no room for error at all right now. We need to see some actual volume, some actual momentum come in. It's like 2,000 contracts a minute is so boringly slow, and I think in all honesty, I think that's literally something that is like preyed upon, is how bored people get. I'm gonna cut this trade. Lost to 687.50 on that. Still up 625 on the day, but down from 21.25. So we've lost 1,500 total on that. So really just waiting for some actual momentum. Like, we may never even get it. Like, today just be like everyone just gave up and went to Whole Foods or something. Riding along this this low here. Next move, looking at 3-minute candle. Yeah, it's another battle, but it seems like the bears want a little more. Yeah, I mean, like to even like it's a battle with like 8 people on the battlefield. Like, honestly, like 2,600 contracts. I mean, like, are you for real? Like, across the entire globe, 2,600 contracts. Like, I trade 5. Like, it doesn't take a lot of me in order to like to make that 2,600 up. I mean, like, if this calculator will load. So like 2,600 divided by 5, like that's 520 people trading 5 contracts. Like, that's so few. That's so little. It just doesn't take a lot of me in order to do that. And I'm just like a random dude with like, like I don't have multiple millions to be trading with and whatnot. And trade one at a time. Yeah, even if it's 2,600 people globally trading one contract, like, the reality of it is that there's just a lot of people just sitting on their hands and not taking trades right now. And likely watching the chart and waiting for other people to all take trades right now. And then as they wait for other people and they start to see buyers and other things pile in, then that's when they decide to also do it too. Yeah, it's such a huge lack of liquidity too. And it's really weird because it's like I get it that like Bank of America was saying that investors lost, I'm going to use that word very loosely, lost $2.2 trillion over the course of the year. By the way, we here at Optimistic Futures do not believe that money is ever lost. It is simply transferred. So in order for the person to have lost in their investment, somebody else on the other side gained on their investment. Like, it's not a loss, it's a transfer of wealth. And so that's incredibly important to understand, because the money just doesn't vamoose. It doesn't just disappear into thin air. It becomes transferred to a different owner. That's basically what it is. And so, yeah, who got that yeah, exactly. Who got that $2.2 trillion from investors? It could be other traders. It could be other companies. It could be banks themselves. It could be any number of different things. It could have been the payment for order flow. You know what I mean? Like it could have been the order flow, like the guys who collect all the fees in the contracts. Like, there's just so many people in between each trade that it's like, that all that money had to go somewhere. Put somewhere else. We sure know. Put it somewhere else because we know where it went. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that money's moving around somewhere. It's getting transferred in some capacity. So I think like when I see headlines like that, when I'm like, investors lost $2.2 trillion, I'm like, this is so sensational. Like it just makes me think like once again, because I come from a marketing background, I understand when we write headlines, when we write taglines and subheadlines and we write copy, I understand like we're literally searching for exact specific wording in order to elicit a certain response and a certain emotion, as well as a certain methodology of thinking. And it's incredible to think about. The English language is an incredibly diverse language that has the ability to very pinpoint specific thought processes, and it could be done through headlines. It can be done through a lot of different ways that we communicate as humans. And so when I read headlines like that, I think to myself, I'm like, somebody wanted other people to think that people lose money in the markets, that it just vanishes. Somebody wanted them to think that when they wrote that headline. Unless they're just, unschooled to the game. But the reality of it is that if you're a copywriter, you spent time learning copy, learning marketing, learning advertising. Journalists, by the way, a significant amount of journalists are copywriters. Like you know what you're doing, you know what you're picking. There's a big dump down there with 15,000 contracts traded over the last 3 minutes. So big volume spike to the downside on that. And you can see this candle here has 700. So some liquidity coming in toward the downside, even more sell-off happening. Definitely should have just been short bias today, but I'm just a better long trader, to be completely honest. Occasionally I take shorts, but like I said, it's pretty rare, and it usually has to be like on something fresh like this here, where all these indicators all came in at once, and they were like, okay, we're gonna push down. And so that's usually when I have to take a short myself. But most of the time I'm just not doing shorts. So those are things that I personally kind of think about, like, especially when I'm reading articles, or when I'm like listening to news and that type of stuff. I'm like, okay, what particular and specific words are being chosen in order to elicit what particular thought process and response from me, the end consumer. So I think about that stuff a lot. Again, a huge part of it's because it came from a marketing background. Wink, wink. I'm just catching up on some of these comments here. Yeah, somewhere else. Wink, wink. Don't mind it. Tanya, I like how you put this. Not cool of me. I think that's really important, just to like have that particular reflection and that particular like thought process, to think to myself, okay, what am I personally doing? How is, like, where you put it, giving away my frequency, answering phone calls? Like, throw your phone on silent when you trade. Like, no joke. Like, it doesn't matter if the Pope is calling me. I'm not answering. Because like I'm trying to like stay focused on what I'm doing. Um, so definitely like silence that phone. I would only pick up for a very handful of people, and that would be my family members. If there's some sort of emergency of some kind, but it would just be that, just family only. So yeah, exactly. And I think that a lot of people don't really consider that. And like, you have to think that propaganda moves markets. And I don't want to get political at all. I want to stay away from politics, actually. But the ideology, the way that communication is used is it's intended to elicit a response, an emotional response from the reader or the end consumer. And so, like, there's a saying in marketing, in advertising: if it leads, it bleeds. And it's a really common saying, common phrase. I'm sure people have heard it. But if it bleeds, it leads. Sorry. If it bleeds, it leads, which means that if it's scary, if it's crazy and like, like upsetting or civil unrest or those types of things, those are the things that those news outlets are going to highlight, even if there is other news that is even more important, that is more powerful, that is more impactful, that may be positive. They're going to share the more negative thing. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one is it elicits fear response. Fear, in my own personal opinion, fear is the most reductive form of marketing that there is. But again, I come from a marketing, messaging, and advertising background. But that sort of eliciting that fear in order to elicit an emotional response is one of the most consistent things, because it's the absolute easiest way in order to get views. It's the absolute easiest way to garner attention, and attention is the most valuable currency currently. Right now, attention is the most valuable currency that exists. It's more valuable than the money itself, because if you have the attention, you can create the money on demand. And so that's why that currency and that attention as currency matters so much, which is one of the reasons why they go for the lowest common denominator, which is to elicit that fear response. And that fear response shows up in the markets as well. And that's one of the reasons why when you'll see headlines and things like that, that's why you see headlines that say investors lost $2.2 trillion. They're also speaking to dumb money. So they're speaking to people who hadn't thought to themselves that, or maybe haven't questioned the idea that money is not lost, it is simply transferred. Money is a currency. Okay, it is a currency, hence it has a current, a flow. Okay, so money is consistently flowing, and hence why it's called a currency. Just like a current in an ocean, it doesn't stop, it's not lost. If it evaporates, it turns into clouds and then it rains. It's not lost, it is simply transferred. And I need more coffee too. I just have this tea which has gone cold. And you guys know that my tea or my coffee is basically a character on this stream. I mean, it's part of it. Yeah, I would also argue that attention is also the same thing as money. Speaking of which, looks like the market is actually giving us an opportunity here. So let's go ahead and dive over. 1 minute chart. You can see that we're super zoomed in. So last 2 minutes, we actually got some yellow candles on the TTM, and a nice big pop off these lows here, 4013, and that popped up to 4017. So about 16 ticks, and now we're pulling back a little bit, 6.8 to 6.0 to 5.6 on the TTM. Now pulling back to about 4016. So we bounced from 4013 up to 4017. Now pulling back to 16 and a half, and I can see a move up to 19. So showing the bid here on this pullback. And now we're looking for a 1 minute pullback to make a new high. And we have 8 seconds left in this candle. So we're going to be looking for the next candle to be the one that pops. 6.0, 5.4 to 4.9, and the next candle is actually the one that dropped, not popped. And I was expecting this one to be the pullback, but because he ended green, we ended up having this one here be the pullback. So I'm still holding it through. Plus, we got an entry of 16.75, so it's not too bad. 5.4 to 4.9. I want to see this candle end at least above 4.9. Definitely in the fours. If it ends in the 5, I'm out. But we have a couple of seconds, 10 seconds left in this candle. We got a hammer candle forming here. We want to see the even ending with the doji. Now popping up some. Switching to the evaluation side. The 26 simple is up at 19 and a half. This is our new candle. I want to check the 3-minute chart. 3-minute actually got a few yellow candles. So we did finally get that yellow on 13.6 to 12.6. And our next one's going to be at 9:12. So this is our fresh 3-minute candle. And what do we want to see on this? Basically, just want to see this pop green. Maybe come up and test 40-20. Switch to a 5-minute chart. 5 minutes still red. Our next one's going to be at 9:10. So that's in about 10 seconds. I want to see what happens with this next 5-minute candle. Probably staying focused on scalps today. 5-minute candle did not go yellow. Went from 13.5 to 14.4. Is that a leveling off though? Let's see, 6.0, 7 to 10, to 12, 13 to 14. 4. Not enough leveling off. I wanted to see it go from like 13.5 to like 13.6 or something like that. So we're possibly even yellow. Coming back to y'all. See what's up. Yeah, I could really use some coffee. That'd be amazing. I wonder if I can ask my wife for a cup of coffee. All right. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. I'm sure it looks a lot better now. Still continuing to pull back. Down 3 ticks in this trade. Not bad, but still not what we want to see, obviously. By the way, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We've been streaming now for almost 2 hours. 9, what are we at? 9:12. So yeah, 9:12. So probably gonna shut it down soon, but probably stick around for a bit more, maybe up to like 15 more minutes or so. But never really stream past 9:30. So 2.7 to 2.1 on the GTM. I think we need to see this get a cyan switch in order for this trade to play out. It had a really difficult time breaking up over this. Didn't do the 1 minute pullback with the 1 minute candle to make a new high. Didn't do that. 9 needs to get above the 12, and we need the volume to come back. Like this liquidity issue has been so challenging for trading these last few weeks. And really, we only had the liquidity last week. It's like the only week that we had liquidity throughout the last month. The beginning of November had some, October had plenty, and then basically 3 weeks in November, there was like low to no liquidity, and it was like trying to just scalp my way along all these little micro momentum moves, basically these kind of moves right here. I try to be there right when red switches to yellow, but it's not always feasible. Occasionally, like, simply because, you know, we're also jumping back and forth in the stream and the streaming software and things like that. So we have resistance here at this 40-17 zone, and our entry is at 16 3/4, 2.2 to 1.5. Yeah, movement is 0.7 on the TTM. It's not bad. I think we also got a new 3-minute candle that we haven't checked. We did. Went from 13.6 to 12.0. Or sorry, to 12.9 to 12.0. I mean, we're getting decent momentum build up on the TTM, but it honestly seems like people are like, there's a lot of sellers that are really kind of holding this back, which is kind of interesting to think about. But we're getting really close to that 1226 crossover that you can see right there. This 9 has to get above the 12. You guys heard me say that a lot of times today. I think it's very true. Personally, I think that's going to be a big factor. Let's look at 9:15, which is in about 10 seconds. So 9:15, I think we may get a nice push here. Getting some volume push up right now, right before 9:15. We'll drop. Tried to enter the bid, and it just was, the bid was like way too low. Only back some in at 18 1/4.
Order filled.
Got to push up to 19. We did that with 3 contracts, so now we're up at 246 on the trailing drawdown. We have a long way to go to fix this. But we're getting a nice big solid momentum push now. We did get that trade on this side, which was worth about $500. I'm gonna go for 6 contracts. Let's see if it'll let me. I don't know if I grinded my account too much down, but switching back to the 1-minute chart, which has a possible cross. Come on, zoom, please. Why do you keep trying to grab it? There. All right. So now reassessing. We did get a cyan switch. Coming up and hitting resistance here at the EMA 35 on the 1-minute chart. We got a 1226 crossover with 9 above 12. That means I think that we got room up here to 21, which is right at this 50 EMA. So let's see, go for 4 ticks and move off 19. Missed it. Didn't enter at 19, so gonna enter at 20. Got the entry at 20. Look for a push to 21. The 50 EMA is right up here at 2175. So this is really kind of sketchy territory, I guess you could say. Because we could just reject pretty heavily off this, but that is a move of about 5 ticks or so available. Tempted to take it, but because we're just chopping around at this doji, I don't want to yet, because we may also continue to pull back to this this blue line here. And as you guys know, we're really low in our evaluation. We're at our trailing max drawdown at 246. We need to get that back up to 2000. So we ended up getting this trade on the side, which was a move up to 21. So that one did work out. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles in a row. Let's expect likely a pulling back, I would imagine, to about the 35, maybe even the 9 EMA, which would be at 19. So having said that, I'm gonna put in a move here, 8 ticks. I'm gonna try to enter at 19 and a quarter. I don't know if it'll go down this low. Just another $1 down, so 4 ticks lower, but it seems like it could. 2.1 to 2.7 on the GTM. I may have to get in at like 19 and 3/4. I was trying to get it at 19 and a quarter, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. In at 19 and 3/4, which is right at the EMA 35. And we're in this with 6 contracts. It did pull back to 19 and a quarter, which was where we were trying to get in. And just pop back up off that, which is the 9 EMA, which is why that was the attempted entry point. And I was just expecting it on the previous candle, not on this current candle. Got a possible crossover showing up on the 3-minute chart. That would be a very nice crossover to take. Time 9:19. Our streaming service only allows us to stream for 2 hours, so we'll likely be shutting down here in a few minutes, next 5 minutes or so. But be sure you guys like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and also, guys, too, if you guys want to earn funding in the futures market, check out Elite Trader Funding, guys. These guys are great, wonderful customer service. They genuinely do care about helping you earn funding. They have an awesome Discord group. We do as well. But you can earn funding as low as $10K all the way up to $300,000 on the one-step evaluations. They also have static drawdown accounts available, or the more traditional end-of-the-day drawdown evaluations. And then they have the fast-track evaluations. These are like a one-off. I've never seen these anywhere else. But basically, these have a maximum of 14 calendar days. So in order for you to hit these, they're significantly reduced in price in order for what you get access to. But you have a time limit on which to do it. The one steps don't have that time limit. They just have a minimum of 5 trading days. Make sure you click the see more details in order to really understand the products and understand the evaluation. Personally, I'm working on a 50K evaluation, which allows me a $2,000 drawdown and a $3,000 profit target, and allows me to take up to 8 contracts in the mini. So, in my opinion, one of the best values out there. Plus, if you use the link in the description and promo code JSBest, you'll lock in a lifetime discount on your account there. I'm gonna take this profit off. Made 375 on that. I likely could continue with that trade because I do think it's going to pop up 8.6 to 7.1 on the TTM. Next one's going to be at 24, which is just in about 2.5 minutes. But this is looking pretty good. We currently are not in a great position on our evaluation side of things, but we're still hanging in there, barely. As far as the eval goes, this would have been a nice trade right here, possibly this one, but we're currently down 290 on the day. But more importantly, our trailing max drawdown has gotten down to 246, and we started it at 536. We need that to get back up to like 2,000 so that we have more room to be able to take swings. Currently, we're trading with reduced size today in order to rebuild that back up. We did get above the 50 EMA, and currently 3.7 to 4.0 on the TTM. Switching to the 3-minute chart. 8.6 to 6.9. Next candle is going to be at 24, which is in about 1 minute. With a possible crossover coming in for the 3-minute side. And I'm just going to jump in and check in with y'all, see how you guys doing. Um, yeah, we'll get it back up there. I need to be super cautious. That's your favorite track. Was that the Tiny? Was that the one that was like do 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 do? Like has the like almost like a western sound to it. Was that the one? We can hold down the stream before you go get coffee. I'd have to actually make coffee, and I only have a French press. So I literally would have to like make coffee. Uh, it just take too long. Nice. We're getting that pop up. This is the pop up that we've been waiting for. Let's switch over to the 1 minute chart so that we can see this more clearly. We actually have a 5200 crossover potential inbound as well. So we did pop up off the 50 EMA, and I'm going to join the bid here. Looking for that move. So this move is happening on low volume. I think it's important to note because that lower volume is going to affect its ability to actually break out. So we do have really good looking chart, but the volume, the liquidity being lower like this is going to really affect its ability to break through this 40-25 zone that it needs to. I'm gonna reduce the sell order to just be 2 ticks. But that was a nice push off of 20 up towards 23. And this is the new 3 minute candle that we were talking about. So on the 3 minute side, we've got this possible crossover inbound, which I think is going to make a big difference. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to shut the stream down, but we can go to like the last possible. Our next one's going to be at 27, which it's just in about a minute and a half. Currently, we went from 8.6 to 6.7 to 5.0. Momentum's looking really good on the 3 minute chart. We want to see this 12-26 crossover. First, I want to see this 9 get above the 12. 9 getting above the 12 on the 3 minute chart tends to be a really strong move toward the upside. We're only looking to pick up like 2 ticks on this, but we entered high. Unfortunately, and that's it's not great, but it is what it is. 6.7 to 5.1 on the TTM, and we have about 45 seconds left on this 3 minute candle before we get our next 3 minute candle, which could just rip up. We have room, I think, up to 26 and a half. So I actually might just put this up at 26. See what we can do. 30 seconds left in this. I'm going to jump to the evaluation side and see what happens on this next candle here. Our recording's going to end in a few minutes. So see if buyers step in here. We're at 5.0 to 3.9. You're at 927. Here come the buyers as soon as I hit enter. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that we got to shut it down because we only have a 2-hour stream limit. So I'm gonna have to buy some streaming software to make it even better on the day, so that we can stream as long as we want. But everything is a progression. Obviously, you guys have seen that the background's gotten better. the audio quality has gotten better, the music has gotten better over the last like almost 6 months actually. We started in July. Here we are in December. January will be our 6th month, and so over the last 5 months, we've improved the audio quality, we've improved the music, we've improved the background, we've improved the camera quality, we've improved the quality at which we stream. So we were at 720, now we're at 1080, and etc. So we're getting better and better all the time. But it's just going to be a while before we can do every step in order to be as professional as we really want to be with our stream. So, but yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down there. I don't want it to just automatically shut down on us. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here. Thanks so much, guys. I love and appreciate you. We'll see you in the Discord group. And yeah, it's definitely come a long way, hasn't it, Tiny? But we'll see you guys in the Discord group. It's just right there, link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific. That's 10:30 market time. And again, guys, if you want to earn funding in the futures market, check out Elite Trader Funding. There's a link in the description, and the promo code JSBEST will give you a lifetime discount on that. Love and appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the Optimistic Futures Discord group. Mwah! Love you. Peace out, y'all.